Lawyers of Reddit, what's the most cringy case you've had? A woman wanted to charge her ex for stealing her indoor-outdoor cat. The cat had been gone for 2 days. When it returned, it smelled like cigarette smoke. Her ex was a smoker, so she thought this was plenty of evidence against him. When your cat has more fun on the weekends than you do. Weekend at Pernice. My cat has a chronic wheezing cough that he has had since we got him 7 years ago, and we always joke that it's because he goes out under our shed and smokes with his buddies Buff and George. Side note, we have taken him to the vet before and he got a steroid shot that made it better for a little while, but honestly it doesn't damage his quality of life, so we just let him live. I was defending. The plaintiff's case was dismissed for failure to state a case. Basically, under the law, they weren't entitled to any compensation. They appealed this decision and lost. They had a month to appeal. 3 months passed, and nothing. Then we get a notice that they're appealing. Half of their appeal was their attorney begging the court to consider the appeal because of how difficult his last 3 months had been. The difficulty? He moved across town 2 months prior and had been renovating his new house. Maybe not very cringy to the average person, but the audacity of blaming a 3-month delay on moving was something else. That takes a lot of chutzpah mixed with an equal amount of pants on head stupidity. His filing is probably going to be the first exhibit in the forthcoming malpractice suit, or, at the very least, will not play well in the bar discipline proceeding. Yeah, it was a while ago. I never looked into him because I was just happy the case went away. He had sympathetic clients, so the trial court gave him 3 do-overs on the complaint to state a legally coherent case. His circuit appeal was actually pretty good. He lost though, and we assumed that was it. And then he lost all credibility with the harebrained, late Supreme Court petition. Even if it was allowed, I don't think we would have bothered responding. Man in his 50s is suing his female coworker about 30 years his junior. Woman just got married, but the man had a crush on her. He broke down and kept crying, confessing to stalking and sending her e-scale letters and maybe even breaking into her place. His lawyer has to work hard not to get him put in prison. Why is he suing her? I think the song goes, I would sue anything for love. But I won't do that. No, I won't sue that. Our unexpected meatloaf. For not loving him back, I'm guessing. More for the emotional damage, I guess. Probably because she got married to someone else. That he still even was her coworker and not fired. Guy wanted to declare bankruptcy for gambling debts. They weren't even big debts. He just felt like they were too annoying in trying to collect on the debt that he wanted to stiff them by going through bankruptcy. I declare bankruptcy. That's not how it's done, Michael. I didn't say it, I declared it. I declare that as the bankruptcy trustee that I'm taking all your assets to pay your debts and your bankruptcy is denied. Depends on the state. Most people aren't filing a chapter 7 with any assets that a trustee is going to bother with. Just like the Greek government. I just wanted you to know that you can't just say the word bankruptcy and expect anything to happen. I do declare Mr. Beauregard had a client who wanted to set up a charity to preserve a mythical creature. Luckily I could argue failure to meet one of the 3 certainties as a reason why not, rather than the good old year crazy pants defense. What was the creature? Sorry, that would breach confidentiality. I get what you're doing. If we don't know the creature really exists, I can neither confirm nor deny your hypothesis. See, folks, that's how you lawyer. Really? You won't cough it up? I bet the creature never existed in the first place. Come over here, I'll breach your confidentiality. Does it have 1 horn? Guarantee it's Bigfoot. Just had an example case in class today, which my prof's friend acted as the defense for. Some first-class airplane passenger tried to sue a non-first-class passenger for trespass after they used the first-class bathroom. Luckily the case was thrown out. That sounds like a scene-filled episode. I can't go back to coach. Some people really do just want to sue someone, haha. It seems that the first-class passenger may have an attorney on retainer and intends to be sure they've earned it. Not mine but my mom's. Before she went to the Netherlands she was a lawyer in Afghanistan. She was a defendant for people that committed tax fraud point. So this one person needed to pay $100. Because of the fraud my mom takes way more than a $100 for a case point. He would have been a cheaper if he just paid it and went forward. He lost and needed to pay it anyway. Dunno. A lot of people would pay good money to not have a tax fraud on their record. Granted, I have no idea how significant that would be in Afghanistan, of all places. Not a case, but my friend got a bunch of people in our room to write fake weird reviews on his dad's law firm page. It went on for a few weeks, and after they had hit the 600 review his dad said something. Turns out that his dad wanted to sue every kid in the school for posting the reviews. Friend got suspended for almost 6 months. Wait, was his son the only kid that was suspended? And what were the reviews like? Can you give an example? Currently dealing with a $500 garnishment on the wages of one of our employees. Opposing counsel keeps threatening to make you pay, meaning the company, via email, and just being downright nasty, which I get, sort of, but ignorant of the law, which is unforgivable. He's acting like he's Erin Brockovich, and I'm personally vomiting hexaval and chromium into a river. If only it were a river in his state, and then we might have a chance of honoring that garnishment. But alas. But ignorant of the law, which is unforgivable, you must not litigate often. This is pretty much par for the course. I had a bankruptcy consult for a man in his 20s. He had racked up some $50k in CR card debt in just a few months. I asked him what he spent the money on. He said it was for several elective leg lengthening surgeries in South America to make him taller. They would break his legs and use traction to keep the bone apart so that it knitted together in the space. He thought he could just run up the cards for this and file for bankruptcy. Had to tell him that was going to flag for fraud and he was likely not going to be able to discharge that debt. People do weird things for vanity. Is that a feasible way to grow someone's legs? Yes, I've heard of it a few times and there are places that do it, although I think it's considered a bit ethically dodgy by most doctors. Frankly, it sounds excruciatingly painful, and I can't imagine wanting to be taller enough to do that. Not ethically dodgy at all, and it happens all the time actually. Not usually for vanity reasons, but legitimate length of leg issues that happen with certain physical deformities. I have personally undergone this exact operation because my left leg was 1.5 inches shorter than my right, and it was offsetting my hips, causing scoliosis and a crazy amount of pain. It was definitely excruciatingly painful, but my quality of life is a lot better now, and I'd do it again given the same circumstances. The one where the defendant argued she didn't have to pay for work done on her home because she signed the paperwork on orders from her master. Took on a divorce case. My client was the wife W, divorcing husband H. They had one kid together K. W had another kid K2 with XE. H had a kid K3 with his XE2. E and E2 completed the square of rednecks by having K4. That was like a complex algebraic equation. WXE equals K. A rich guy, with a ton of incriminating evidence on his computer, was accused of inappropriate contact with children. He was insanely confident that a jury would find him innocent through sheer force of his magnetic personality and demanded that we go to trial, refusing every plea deal put in front of him. He was an egomaniac narcissist. We did a ton of work on the case through trial, and literally the day before the jury delivers its verdict, he disappeared to a non-extradition country. I'm now honestly curious about how things like that are handled, if the jury would have somehow found him to be innocent prior to disappearing. Cannot tell you how many child protection cases I've heard about where they take the kids into care and mom dad are adamant that they want the kids returned to them, even though their current residence is a once bedroom motel room car. Not joking. A car. Not a trial lawyer, but a deal lawyer. Worst reason I've had to work late on a Friday. No less company was being sold and management was staying on after the transition. CEO needed an employment offer letter, but the CEO was the only authorized signatory for the company. I worked until midnight on a Friday because the partners were debating how to do this. In the end, I had to draft a letter from the CEO to himself, and he had to countersign his own offer letter, offering himself employment and accepting it. I can't believe I missed my dinner reservations for that. Client bought insurance on an expensive piece of jewelry. Client declared jewelry lost during transit. Negotiation with insurance commenced. Insurance company special investigator pulled files showing same piece of jewelry previously declared loss and damages paid. I gave my $700k insurance claim case to our criminal defense department. The meeting with the special investigator was so cringe.